Republican Congresswoman Martha McSally has fended off competitive challenges from the far right to face Kyrsten Sinema, a Democratic Congresswoman from Phoenix, setting the stage for one of the most anticipated open-seat Senate elections this year. McSally, a retired Air Force combat pilot who was the favorite of establishment Republicans, easily defeated Kelly Ward, a hardline former state senator, and Joe Arpaio, the former Maricopa County sheriff whose criminal conviction was pardoned by Donald Trump last year, in a primary that became a test of the candidate's allegiance to the president. Sinema meanwhile soared past progressive activist Deidre Aboud. The outcome guarantees Arizona will elect its first female senator in November. Republicans are trying to defend the seat vacated by the retiring Senator Jeff Flake, whose persistent criticism of Trump made him unpopular with conservative voters. The contest could determine who controls the Senate in November. Trump remained neutral in the Republican primary, until Tuesday evening, when he endorsed McSally. Martha McSally, running in the Arizona primary for U.S. Senate, was endorsed by rejected Senator Jeff Flake, and turned it down, a first, Trump said, apparently referring to comments she made earlier in the day when she declined to say whether Flake had served the state well. Now Martha, a great U.S. military fighter jet pilot and highly respected member of Congress, wins big. Congratulations, and on to November. Flake replied that he had not endorsed McSally, and on Wednesday morning he congratulated both candidates. This seat is now reserved for the first female senator in Arizona's history. How cool is that? The Arizona primary came just 3 days after the death on Saturday of the state's longtime Senator John McCain. John McCain's death roils Arizona's rough-and-tumble Republican primary. Read more. It's difficult to celebrate anything this week as we mourn the loss of Senator McCain, McSally said, addressing her supporters at a victory party in Tempe. She then turned sharply to her opponent, who she nicknamed Hollywood Sinema, in a jab at the Democrats' makeover from liberal to moderate. "This is how I see this campaign," McSally said. "It's a choice between a doer and a talker, between a patriot and a protester." The line, which drew wild applause, is a reference to the searing campaign ad McSally launched against Sinema last week. The commercial contrasts imagery of McSally in uniform with footage of Sinema protesting against the Iraq War in a pink tutu. "How did you guys like those side-by-side outfits?" she said, drawing laughs. In a statement acknowledging her primary win, Sinema made no mention of McSally. She also honored McCain for his example of always putting country over party. "Tonight, we look ahead and continue fighting to uphold the values we all share, a fair shot at the American dream and an unwavering commitment to the Arizona we love," she said. During their Republican primary, the candidates exchanged vicious insults while highlighting their closeness to the president. Ward and Arpaio attacked McSally for her evolution from Trump critic to ardent supporter. Meanwhile, Democrats turned out to vote in record numbers, in a state that has not sent a Democrat to the Senate in 30 years. In a statement, Arizona's Democratic Party chairwoman, Felicia Rotellini, accused McSally of embracing a destructive GOP agenda that aims to slash healthcare access, Medicare and Social Security, education funding, and privacy rights for Arizonans. For months Arizona voters have seen Sinema's ads touting her record of independence, said Chuck Colin, a veteran Republican strategist in the state. And that will make it harder for McSally to make the case that she is too liberal for Arizona. "Sinema is the best politician in the state by far because she can be anything you want her to be," he said. "She is very charming. She's warm. But," he added, "her record doesn't speak to her being a moderate Democrat, and we can expect to hear a lot more about who is the real Kyrsten Sinema and what does she stand for." Both Senate candidates have compelling personal stories. McSally, a graduate of the Naval Academy, was the first American woman to fly in combat. Sinema grew up poor. Her family lived for 3 years in an abandoned gas station without running water and relied on food stamps for a while. Before entering politics, she was a social worker. Meanwhile, David Garcia, a former education professor, won the Democratic nomination to challenge the incumbent Governor Doug Ducey in November. Garcia hopes his background in education will galvanize teachers who are fed up with Ducey after a walkout earlier this year. Garcia, a progressive who supports Medicare for all, faces an uphill battle in the traditionally conservative state, but if he can pull off an upset, he would be the state's first Latino governor in 40 years.